Join me as I take on the challenge of figuring out my estimated glucose load for a whole week. Can I keep it under control? When we think about managing our health, one crucial aspect that often gets overlooked is our glucose load. Essentially, it's the amount of glucose our body is processing at any given time, and it has a huge impact on our overall well-being, especially for those living with diabetes or on a health journey. One of the biggest challenges people face when it comes to understanding their glucose levels is the sheer amount of misinformation out there. It's confusing and it can be overwhelming, especially when you're trying to make sense of all the different numbers and ratios. Add to that the emotional toll of dealing with the unpredictability of blood sugar spikes and crashes. And it's no wonder so many people struggle to get a handle on their glucose levels. For many, it's a daily stress that can be debilitating, affecting everything from energy levels to mood and overall quality of life. It's heartbreaking to see people feeling like they're at the mercy of their glucose levels rather than being in control. And what's worse, it's often a taboo topic, with people feeling ashamed or embarrassed to talk about their struggles. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. By understanding our glucose load, we can take back control and start making informed decisions about our health. Another challenge is that our glucose levels can be influenced by so many different factors, from the food we eat to the amount of exercise we get, and even the time of day. It's like trying to solve a complex puzzle, and it can feel like no matter how hard we try, we just can't seem to get it right. And then there's the added pressure of trying to make sense of all the different numbers and readings. Is this a good number? Is that a bad number? It's exhausting and it can be hard to know where to start. But what if I told you there was a way to simplify it all, to break it down into a manageable, digestible piece of information that can empower you to take control of your health? So, how do we calculate our glucose load, and what are the factors that influence our glucose levels? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Our glucose load is calculated by taking into account the amount of carbohydrates we consume in our diet, as well as the amount of fiber and protein we eat. These three factors work together to determine how much glucose is released into our bloodstream and how quickly it's absorbed. And that's where the magic happens, or not, depending on how well we're managing our glucose load. By understanding these factors, we can start to make informed decisions about the food we eat and take back control of our glucose levels. But here's the thing, it's not just about the numbers. It's about how those numbers make us feel. It's about the energy and vitality we have, the clarity of our minds, and the overall sense of well-being we experience. When our glucose load is in check, everything else falls into place. We feel more balanced, more grounded, and more in control. And that's what it's all about, taking control of our health and living the life we deserve. So, how do we do it? How do we manage our glucose load effectively and start feeling like the best version of ourselves? For me, the breakthrough came when I started tracking my glucose levels regularly. It was amazing to see how different foods affected my levels, and how certain times of day were more challenging than others. I started to see patterns and make connections, and suddenly it all clicked into place. I realized that I had been letting my glucose levels control me, rather than the other way around. And that's when everything changed. I started making small changes to my diet, and, slowly but surely, my glucose levels started to come into balance. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I felt free, empowered, and in control. So what's the takeaway from all of this? It's simple. Our glucose load is a powerful tool that can help us take control of our health. By understanding our glucose levels and making informed decisions about our diet and lifestyle, we can start to feel more balanced, more energized, and more in control. It's not rocket science, but it does require a willingness to learn, to adapt, and to take action. So I want to leave you with a challenge. Start tracking your glucose levels and see what you discover. You might be surprised at just how empowered you feel when you take control of your glucose load. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've struggled with managing your glucose levels, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more videos on health, wellness, and self-care. And don't forget to check out my other video on the top 5 foods to help regulate your blood sugar levels. The link is in the description box below. See you in the next video.